It isn't because the man is stupid. It's because, and this is a theme I keep returning to, he lacks judgment. And that is so important for somebody at the top of politics. If you don't have the right judgment, you're not going to last long. So you ask the question, how does he get this off the front pages? Here's what I'm going to say about that. This is not going to go away until he reveals his secret.
Yes.
Now, I don't know exactly what his secret is, but he sure as hell has got one or more secrets, and they relate in some way to Lord Ali and to his family. Now, I don't know how those two things overlap, but there is a secret there. There are papers all over this. They are waiting for their moment. There are people other than newspaper journalists over this too. Lord Ashcroft has already indicated that he is writing an update to his biography of Sir Keir Starmer. And having worked for Lord Ashcroft on biographies, I can tell you it's no secret that he is not afraid to put things out there in the public domain that he believes to be in the public interest. So I would take that tweet by Lord Ashcroft as a very big shot across the bows. So if Sir Keir Starmer has something to hide, and I'm afraid I believe that he does, then it's sure as hell time to get it out there now, get ahead of the story. And if he has nothing to hide, which is still possible, he should nonetheless front up the rumours, and he should hold a press conference and he should just say, look, I realise that all of this has created a perception that there's something else going on here. And I also realise that people are wildly speculating about my private life. And I want to be very plain today that there's nothing to see here. You're all a disgrace. Now let's move on. Now, if he did that and it were true, then that would put the lid on it. But to date, he has not done that, which leads many people to suspect that there is something in it.
ST's administration is disintegrating, and the brutal truth is at long last being uncovered fair, after you thought the Labour Party couldn't sink any lower. Oakeshott's most recent comments have sent shockwaves over the political world. This isn't fair. A feedback, it's a full-on prosecution of Starr's leadership. What's coming? Another can be the end of his political career. Remain tuned since the outrageous breakdown is almost to start. Take a minute to like this video and subscribe to remain upgraded with the most recent in UK politics. We've got more substance merely won't need to miss. Particularly as ST's future hangs within the adjust and the twofold guidelines from a two-tier media, will they certainly do matter? Why ought to we acknowledge that the MSM will cover a Tory prime serve with totally distinctive benchmarks to a Labour one. Isabel Oakeshott has shaken the political scene with a scorching study of Kia ST's administration, and to say it's hazardous would be in modest representation of the truth. Oakeshott, a regarded voice in political investigation, didn't mince her words when addressing Starmer's capacity to lead effectively on the worldwide organize his disappointment to oversee the economy and his party's disputable approaches. You've gotten the event that you do not have the correct judgment. You're not planning to final long. So you inquire a address. How does he get this off the front pages? And here's what I'm planning to say approximately, that this can be not progressing to go absent until he uncovers his mystery. The study has cleared out Labour scrambling for answers, with numerous addressing whether Site's authority is reasonable for much longer, one the failure of authority. Oakeshott's harshest feedback starts with Kia Site's disappointment to venture solid administration, especially within the domain of outside approach. Yes, I do not precisely what his mystery is, but he beyond any doubt as hell has got one or more privileged insights, and they relate in a few ways to ruler Ali and to his family. Presently, I do not know how those two things cover, but there's a mystery there. There are papers all over this. They are holding up for their minute. She doesn't hold back, calling out Starmer for his clear shortcoming and need of clarity when it comes to taking care of universal issues. Oakeshott contends that the Prime Minister's pitiful, crushed appearance isn't fair, an individual issue. It's a coordinate reflection of the nation's thwarted expectation beneath Labor's administration. These individuals are so inept, aren't they? What I always stunned by is their need of anybody telling them she focuses out that Starmer has fizzled to motivate any certainty in his capacity to lead Britain on the world. Arrange this feedback escalate when Oakeshott compares ST's political.
I know, well, that's a relief, isn't it? Because we did sort of almost call a few things quite prematurely. I'd really like to spend a minute just dissecting that brilliant interview that you just did with Nigel Farage, because I think a lot of attention here in the UK is now going to turn to what does this mean for the UK? And Farage gave a very, very interesting insight into what he might be able to do behind the scenes. I thought it was very significant that he said he would be prepared to be as helpful as possible to Keir Starmer. This is a test for Sir Keir Starmer. Our Prime Minister now has to show whether he is a real grown-up or not. I have to say, I'm not optimistic, but at this point, a mature, non-partisan, non-petty political leader would say, well, look, here's the reality I'm faced with. You know, we've got this new president. It's a remarkable, astonishing victory. Even the left can't claim that this is somehow illegitimate. And there is one person in this country that has a line right into the heart of the new presidency. Nigel Farage is welcome in the heart of Donald Trump's inner circle and can literally pick up the phone to him. No one else in this country can do that. So is Sir Keir Starmer now going to use that for the benefit of the United Kingdom?
Disappointments to figures like Nigel Distant, who has effectively developed connections with worldwide pioneers, counting Donald Trump Farage's approach. Oakeshott attests centers on logic and putting Britain's interface to begin with, whereas ST's remote arrangement appears more concerned with individual picks-up and conciliating left-wing groups inside his party, and as each day goes past, it gets more awful. And it's not indeed like he's imagining it's going to induce way better. He's literally telling us it's reaching to get more regrettable. And not within the way that he considers that we need to envisionite cruel. He's telling us it's going to get more regrettable. We're all aiming to get poorer, but really, quality of life is going to go down. Oakeshott brings up a pivotal minute from 2019, where Keir Starmer tweeted that Donald Trump and Boris Johnson were the two individuals he disdained most in worldwide legislative issues. At the time, numerous saw this as an explanation of ethical opposition, a way for Starmer to remove himself from questionable figures. In any case, Oakeshott argues that these comments might have long-term results, particularly as Trump looks set to create a comeback in American legislative issues. Usually truly genuine make no botch. There's a hell of a storm brewing, not as it were about the reality of the matter, because it is an uncommon thing for any prime serve to do. What within the title of God is this bargain, and how on soil, how the coats to secure Starmer think that he can keep the detail mystery as the US plans for the 202 for races. Oakeshott questions how Labour's opposing position towards Trump will influence the UK's relationship with the US. After all, Britain's extraordinary relationship with America is significant, and Starmer's activities seem weaken the relationship at a time when the UK's impact on the world organized is as of now melting away. There has been a messy bargain done, and at the minute may be a mystery deal under which the British citizen presently needs to pay Mias, who has the nation that has presently taken our or been given our islands on a silver platter. We are presently aiming to be paying Mias for a few additional foundation. This Oakeshott fights may be one of the foremost unsafe slips in present-day British legislative issues. 3 David Lamey raising Rhett on the off chance that ST's comments weren't sufficient. Oakeshott 2 targets. David Lammy, Labour's remote secretary, for his indeed more extraordinary talk against Trump. Lammy has called Trump a promoter of a rightist, supremacist, radical, despise, gather, encourage, distancing a key partner of the UK, whereas Lamy's searing talk may have earned him praise from the left-wing base. Oakeshott argues that it dangers segregating the UK from a critical worldwide player in the event. That Starmer has something to cover up, and I'm anxious I accept that he does. Definitely at that point, it's beyond any doubt as hell time to urge it out there presently, but the issue doesn't conclusion there. The more profound issue Oakeshott recommends is that these extraordinary explanations, as it were, serve to highlight Labour's failure to engage in diplomacy without turning to incendiary dialect. The UK needs a government that can oversee difficult relationships, not one that burns bridges for the purpose of political point scoring style. And my C has got no itty. Dijkma may be a man without any genuine ethical esteem. Let's get this right. His entire career may be a lie. He lied to the Labour Party. He lied to his MPS. He lied to the country, and he proceeds to lie. Oakeshott doesn't halt at outside relations. She takes point at Labour's household arrangements as well. One of the foremost noteworthy issues she raises is Labour's taking care of the Charos Islands. Understanding she depicts the bargain as a grimy mystery and raises questions approximately cites individual association and money-related intrigued interface the ascension which bargains with the UK's disputable evacuation of local shoguns from their country has been a long-standing point of pressure between Britain and its previous colonies. Oakeshott contends that the need of straightforwardness encompassing this bargain is fair another illustration of Labour's flawed morals and needs beneath Saint's administration. The mystery encompassing such bargains Oakeshott accepts as it were fills open doubt and reflects ineffectively on the Labour Party when a government is unwilling to be straightforward approximately its activities, particularly on things as genuine as colonial history and human rights. It raises genuine concerns around its capacity to administer mindfully. Presently, it's my sense that the Open have never truly preferred Keir Starmer, and as the truth starts to develop of what he's truly like, I do not think they ever will, but the reactions do not halt at remote approach. Oakeshott, moreover, turns her consideration to Labour's household approaches, especially their financial technique. Oakeshott's most grounded conned country is pointed at Labour's so-called budget of fate, which she accepts uncovers a need of understanding of the challenges confronting Britain today. She criticizes Labour for centering on token approaches like diminishing the cost of brew instead of tending to the squeezing issues of expansion lodging and work creation. Keir Starmer, you know, that prime serve guy, the one with the clever hair and the dead eyes, and the all are adjusting competence. He really specified the vagrant emergency. He did a discourse. He went to Glasgow to address the Interpol Summit 196 delegates from all over the world, and at a time when the UK is hooking with rising swelling and taken a toll of living emergency soil, how the jackets to secure Starmer think that he can keep the detail mystery as the US plans for the 2020 for races Oakeshott questions. How Labour's adversarial position towards Trump will influence the UK's relationship with the US. Oakeshott contends that Labour's center on typical motions isn't as it were ineffectual, but dangerously misinformed. Rather than handling the root causes of financial stagnation, Starmer and his group appear more inquisitive about engaging to short-term political picks. Up another key zone where Oakeshott criticizes Labour is its disappointment to satisfactorily address unemployment and welfare. Oakeshott highlights the conundrum of record work opportunities coupled with an increment in individuals on debilitated pay and inability benefits, with so numerous Britons on benefits and numerous segments battling to fill positions. Oakeshott contends that Labour's disappointment to effectively empower individuals back into the workforce is in financial calamity holding up to happen by not incentivizing individuals to look for work. Oakeshott contends Labour isn't as it were dismissing an undiscovered pool of workers, but to sustaining a reliance culture that's hurtful to both the economy and people within the long run. This may have genuine results for the UK's financial recuperation, particularly as the nation battles to bounce back from the affect of COVID-19 after the welfare and work creation issues. Oakeshott highlights the developing emergency encompassing Kia Site's authority. The splits in his specialist are beginning to appear with whispers of disappointment among labor individuals, and the open alike, his failure to join together his party and effective address the nation's issues has made it clear that ST's hold on administration is slipping. His political survival is at hazard, and Oak Brief contends that unless exceptional changes are made, Starmer's authority could soon come to a conclusion. I think everyone's fearing it, you know, the Prime Serve has expressed that things are aiming to get more awful, and we ought to hold up and see on the off chance that all the reports are a just, and it looks like it's planning to be one of the most exceedingly bad charge-raising budgets, and later, memory, open supposition is turning against him, and the once promising pioneer is now seen as portion of the issue, not the arrangement. Oakeshott's study doesn't bashful absent from labor's inside embarrassments. Either the parties dealing with of gifts, especially the questionable joins between Starmer and Ruler Ali, has raised ruddy banners. Oakeshott requests straightforwardness on these things, contending that ST's hesitance to reveal data on these bargains as it includes fuel to the fire of open doubt. Standard Alexander, this BL heads up the Laborers' Party, and he's as it were been in bringing down road for 2 months. He appears to have fair devastated. She blames Labor of prioritizing budgetary backing over keenness, indicating out the ST's disappointment to clarify the source of party gifts makes a sense of unease, approximately where the party's loyalties lie when straightforwardness is missing. Oakeshott accepts. It leads to a recognition of debasement and a disintegration of belief within the political framework, as Oakeshott proceeds her dismemberment of Labor's financial approaches. She paints a bleak picture of a nation heading into monetary, demolish the approaches Labor is advertising she contends are not fair, unreasonable, they are out and out dangerous, with expansion at record highs and living costs taking off. The final thing the UK needs could be a party that proposes incapable arrangements that do not handle the genuine issues. Oakeshott claims that Starmer and his group are more concerned with engaging to their base, instead of advertising the unequivocal authority that Britain frantically needs. In Oakeshott's eyes, Labour is out of touch with the genuine needs of the British individuals, whereas Starmer may attempt to offer the party's approaches as dynamic and advantageous for the working lesson. Oakeshott's study paints a picture of a party more centered on political theatrics than on down-to-earth arrangements in the event that Labour doesn't course rectify. Before long, she cautions they risk distancing voters and eventually losing their grip on control. As expansion rises, occupations gotten to be scarcer, and living costs proceed to climb. Will Labor's careless arrangements lead Britain into a monetary emergency? Let us know your considerations within the comments underneath, and do not disregard to hit that like button and subscribe for more profound plunges into the UK's political future. You won't need to miss what's coming. Another